everyone, and welcome back to another video and another Notion template tutorial. This week is going to be a bit of a quick video, but I thought I would make this free little template for 75 hard and soft challenges, as it is the template I used for when I completed 75 soft earlier in the year. After using it, I found that it really helped me keep track of my daily tasks and my progress photos and my weight and my measurement all in sort of one spot. And so I thought I would make a little free template that anyone could use if they wanted, or adapt to how they want to use it. And so today we're just going to go through those templates and have a look at them. Let's get to it. So this is the opening page that you'll get when you click on the link, which will be down in the description. As I said, it's completely free. All you have to do is click the link down in the description, press duplicate, and it will duplicate down into your Notion page, Notion account. That's what I was looking for. So there's just this little intro here, and this is just sort of a very basic homepage. The whole thing is very basic, but this homepage even more so. But it just has a little intro area that gives links to places that I can help you out if you have any issues with the templates, as well as a little page guide which you'll see in every single one of my templates at the start of each page. So for this template, I originally was just going to give a 75 soft one, as that's the challenge that I did, but I realized it was quite easily adaptable into the 75 hard challenge, and so I have made a duplication so you can either have the 75 hard or the 75 soft. Once you decide which one you want to do, you can either, if I open my sidebar, you can drag it into your page, into your private section to add it to the page, or you can drag it into another page like your home page to have it in there. Or what you can do is you can open it up and click this little star, which is favorites, and then you'll see it in your favorites. So that's a couple of ways that you can have a look at it. You can keep both of them. You can just use the one that you want to use and delete the other, whatever you want. So the two challenges are hard and soft. Let's go through soft first, as there's a bit less to it, so it might be a bit easier. So you open it into the page, and as you can see, it's a very simple page with just a lot of stuff on it, but that is just to make it simple so you know what's happening and can just see what you need to see without too much fancy Notion things going on. For once, I say, when I make a very big giant formula over here. As I said, there is a page guide on both pages that tells you what each section does in case you forget, and you can delete that once you know how everything works. It doesn't need to stay in here. First off, up the top, there is the 75 soft rules, just to remind yourself what the rules are for the challenge. And then big area is this huge database that it does get very slow if you stay on this view, just a warning. This is where everything is tracked for your tasks. So it has what number day it is, what the date is, your diet. If you choose a diet that's numbers based, such as a calorie goal or a protein goal or a macro goal, something like that, you can use that here. And then it has these little check boxes, which as you check, it'll count up the percentage of the daily tasks you are up to until you're complete, and shows a little tick box. Unfortunately, the Eat Well one doesn't it doesn't speak to the diet goal and diet actual, so you just sort of have to say you had a calorie goal of 2,000 calories, and then whatever calorie tracking app you use, you figure out that you do sort of 1,800 for the day. Then you just have to look at it and know that you completed that goal and tick it off yourself. That's the first one. Then the next one is exercise, so you just tick that off when you've completed your exercise. Or if it's your day of active recovery, I would just, how I did it was just tick it off sort of once I'd done that, like, a little bit of walking, moving around that counted. Reading a book, reading 10 pages of any book, doesn't have to be non-fiction for 75 soft, tick that off. And then to make the water tracking easier for myself, especially because I was in Notion so often and I put this table on my homepage where it was easy to access, I have a checkbox for each litre of water required for the challenge, because you need to drink multiple litres, and that way I didn't have to keep in my head how many litres of water I'd had or put a tally on my drink bottle or anything like that. That is how this view works, and this is sort of the main database, and there are a couple of more views for it. So there is the calendar view, which at the moment is empty. For you to be able to see anything in the calendar view, you have to make sure to select a date on the date property. So if we click that day one is today and then go to calendar view, you can see now it shows up with the little tick boxes. So you can just look at this calendar view and just tick as you do each one. Unfortunately, you can't really drag them to make them go sequentially. So you do just sort of have to, what I did was when I first made it, just took the time to tediously click through each of them and get them to the days that you need and fill them all out at once. If you drag it like this, you can see it just duplicates the day. It unfortunately doesn't sequentially do the day. I don't know if there's a way on Notion to do that. like there is on Excel. I haven't figured it out. If someone knows, comment down below so we can all know better. But yes, I did just take time when I first started my challenge and filled out all the days. And then the last view is this week view. So again, this is empty because they have no days. If we put the dates back in that I just deleted, so say day 3 is 23, but then for some reason day 24 is 29, just to explain how this filter works. So this week will only show anything where you can see the filter here. The date is this week. You can see that it is a Sunday start. So if you don't start the challenge on a Sunday, it is a bit off from your days, but it'll still show sort of this week. I added this view in because, as I said, as even now you can see it is quite laggy because there is so many entries in this place, but especially as you start filling out each entry, it gets even laggier. So using the this week view just keeps everything nice and quick. And you'll see you can't see day 4 because day 4 is a later date. So that is everything for this database. And then the next few databases sort of talk to each other. So we'll quickly talk about stat changes. This is a database that you don't have to touch at all. It has this formula in here which talks to the weekly check-ins area and has a look at what the overall change is of each of the weight as well as the measurements. And then it does it based on overall, which is the first and last. If you understand these formulas, it's the first and last thing you've put in. And the weekly change is first and 1, which is not first because first is 0 in how Notion formulas works. Anyway, it basically, the overall change will go from day 1 to whatever day you're up to and calculate the difference. The weekly change will go from whatever day you're up to -1. And I think that won't work if you have these all pre-inputted. It will not. I'm realizing the flaw in my weekly change right now. So if you do want to do weekly change, you need to delete all of these and just keep the ones that you have currently, just so the formula works. Okay, so I'm not going to add it to page guide because I just realized it breaks both of the formulas. So I will explain how the weekly check-ins work and then delete all the other options. I have forward planning. Anyway, weekly check-ins down here is the database that talks to stat changes. And basically this is just a way to take a weekly progress photo, some weekly measurements and a weekly weight, and then input them in here, and you can sort of see your changes in progress over time. If we go to my 75 soft page, you can see how it looks once it's filled out. So if you want them to show 3 photos like this of 3 views, you do have to make that yourself and then just have it as one photo that you upload. So see it's 1 photo, not 3. You can also just put a single photo in, that works as well. And then what I also created a formula to do down here, it will show the date as well as the weight. So that's just a formula here that grabs both of these 2 values and shows it just sort of easily here. And so this is how it will look once it's complete. And also, where's my weekly change? Oh, down here. And this is how the formula will look. As you can see, I've made it look a bit nicer on the template, but it shows the overall change as well as the overall change from the first value to the most recent value, and then also the recent change, which is from the last to the current. And that's how that works. I will, after the video, before I put this in the link, I will delete all of these and just keep day 1. So just note that sort of whenever you want to do these check-ins, you need to add in a new page. So you just add in a new page, type whatever type of day it is or whatever, and then input your values. I do have a template here that will default to automatically put the date in of the day when you create the page. So that makes that easier for you doing it that way as well. So that is how 75 soft looks. Let's go have a quick look at 75 hard. As I said, it looks exactly the same. It's just got a couple more properties in it for the extra things that you have to do for 75 hard. Page guide does explain those extra properties and views, but it's pretty self-explanatory as well. And so once again, we have the 75 hard rules over here, just in case you need a reminder. And then in this big database, it looks exactly the same, except we've added 3 properties, sorry. So we've added here outdoor exercise. As for 75 hard, you need to do 2 45-minute exercises per day, one of which has to be outside. So I just sort of used the tree icon to differentiate between the indoor, the one. You can do 2 outdoor exercises, but at least one has to be outdoor. So just to differentiate that you have done that, as well as the progress photo, as you have to take a daily progress photo. This, you can just click into it and upload any image and it'll show up. It shows up very small here. Did that on purpose just so this is sort of like very compact. I will show how you can look at it in a second in a different way. And then the last property is the 4th liter of water, or technically you're meant to drink 1 gallon, which is 3.79 liters, but I just put 4 for, brevity. That's what's changed here. The calendar still works exactly the same. It just shows those extra properties. Same with this week in the wrong order. Now it shows correctly. Oh, no. Now it shows correctly. Once you add something here, you'll see it. And then lastly is the progress photo. So this is just a gallery view of the all days, and all it shows is that if you add a photo, it will show up here as the photo. So say we go to day 1 and you add in a progress photo, and we just choose a random photo that I can't see because I'm in full screen. We choose a random photo that is the first thing Opera decided to show me. And you go into this one, you'll see now that this shows as the photo. So you can just see a easy sort of visualization of each progress photo each day, and you can see how you're changing throughout the progress photos. That is how this is different from the 75 soft. And then for stat changes and weekly check-ins, they are both exactly the same as they were in the 75 soft template. I don't really need to explain them again. Once again, I'm going to delete these other pages so it doesn't break the formula, because I did not think that through. Just whenever you want to do a check-in, it doesn't have to be weekly. You could do more than weekly. You could do less than weekly. Whenever you want to do the check-in, you just add it in, say what day it is. You can use this to do it past the 75 soft date. As you could see, there was a random October 3rd in mine, and that was because all of my data for my weight and measurement change is already in that page. So why wouldn't I just keep using that page to track my weight and measurement when I'm sort of doing those big check-ins, so I can see the change over time without having to change and put the data elsewhere. So you don't even have to use this as a 75 soft template, quite honestly. You could delete this entire database because this is the only part that's 75 soft, and then you could use stat changes and weekly check-ins as just an area for your fitness and weight loss journey check-ins to keep yourself accountable. It's a very versatile template, which is nice. So that is how it works. Hopefully that makes sense. This was a lot, or a little, sort of a lot of information, but also not much information, or squished into a very small amount of time. If you have any questions at all about how anything in this works, please feel free to comment down below or message me somewhere and I will help you out. But that is the video for today. If you like this video and would like to see more Notion template tutorials, head over to this video over here, which was the last one I made. That was my Notion updated book tracker template, which I use almost every day. And there's also in the cards, there is the playlist for all of the Notion template tutorials that I've made so far. If you have a template you would like to see me make next, comment down below and let me know, and I'll see you all in the next video. Bye.